Hey, what is up guys? My name is Guillaume, this is Thomann's Guitars and Basses, and welcome to today's video where I'm going to assemble yet another pedal board, but this time with a twist. It's not really themed around any particular artist, any particular budget, which is what I've been doing up to this point. Don't worry, I'll come back. You guys had some great ideas in the comment section over the last 2 or 3 episodes with artist names and different budgets, challenging budgets. So that'll be coming back very soon, but today I wanted to take that opportunity to introduce a brand that we just started distributing on the Thomann website, and that is All Pedal. So my objective for today is to take everything from All Pedal that we have in stock, make a coherent pedal board, and give you guys a little bit of advice as to how to use a pedal effects loop when it's built into the pedal, how to organize and think about your signal chain and how to make the best out of this. With that said, let's get started. And our first pedal for today is that absolutely beautiful Love Machine. This is, as far as I know, because I'll be discovering those pedals at the same time as you do. I've unboxed them, I've tried exactly one of them. So I'll be, discovering them as we figure out some sounds. But I think that by the looks of that psychedelic box, we have here an Octave Fuzz. I'm saying that because it has a button called Octave and another one called Gain, and it says Fuzz right there on the side. So, Octave Fuzz, that's going to be my first pedal because that's where I like to place my fuzzes on the board first. And our pedal number 2 is the Galacta Vise. This is a compressor pedal. Bit of freedom here. Obviously, I'm not trying to emulate any kind of sound. Some people will argue that compressor could be nice before the fuzz, after. Some people also like to compress at the end of their signal chain. This is not my preference, so I'm going to put that pedal in second position. All I'm saying that right now is because over the past few videos I've had questions about the signal chain for those pedal boards, because once it's all plugged in, it's sometimes hard to see. So I just wanted to mention it now that the order I'm presenting the pedals in is the order for the signal chain as well. So that'll be pedal number 2 for today. And that leads us to the All Pedal pedal that you've probably heard of already. That is the Jeff Loomis signature Devil's Triad. This is how I found out about the brand. This pedal looks absolutely sick. It is a 3-in-1 drive boost, 4-in-1, 3 stomps, but 4 effects with a drive, a boost, a reverb, and a delay. This is going to be the main focus in that video because on top of doing all those things gloriously, no doubt, that pedal has an effects loop because it was meant to be used by Jeff in front and in the effects loop of his amp. So you've got a separate input and output for the drive and boost section that are going to be in front of your amp, and input and output for the delay and reverb, which you usually want in the effects loop of your amp. Now that's very useful if you're using that pedal in isolation. If that's your entire board and use it into a tube metal type amplifier, this is absolutely sick. Now the cool thing about this is that feature also allows you to use different effect pedals in the loop in between the drive and boost and the reverb and delay, which is what we'll be doing today. So I'm introducing that pedal now because from these two I'll be going there, but from now on everything that I'm going to mention will be going in between the drive and boost and the delay and reverb. I'll show you how to get that done once we get to the assembly part of that video. But that's our third pedal for today. Which takes us to pedal number 4, which is probably the most traditional, the most exotic take on a very traditional circuit. That is the Alcmene or Alcmene. It's always kind of hard to figure out. But as the back of that glorious pedal says, it is the mother of Centaur Slayers, which is absolutely sick. This is obviously a klone-inspired circuit. So I'm going to put that pedal first in line into my overdrive sort of section, just because that's where I like my klone. This is obviously personal preference. You can put that before or after the other drives, but that'll be going first onto this board. And on going to pedal number 5 for today, which is the main overdrive, the one that I've seen the most on YouTube at least, that is the Slamurai. Absolutely sick name, absolutely sick design. This is the Overdrive. It's been described as something that's very much its own thing, very amp-like, very sort of guttural, sort of, you know, from throaty type of overdrive. So that'll be going after the Alcmene. And I just wanted to take a second to mention that this pedal is also probably in a limited quantity available as that Blackout edition, which is a partnership with Parlor. Made in USA special edition. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful Stompbox. So if you're watching that video early on, you might get a chance to snag one of those bad boys. Otherwise, this is the exact same thing, but just a different color. So that'll be my fifth pedal on this board. And our final pedal for this board is going to be the Macrodose. Absolutely sick design. This is an envelope filter. Probably one of the most modular type of envelope filters that I've ever seen. You get to have so much control over every single aspect of the modulation, which is really cool. Also allows to be controlled by an expression pedal on the side right there, which I won't be doing for this video, but yeah, insane amount of control over an envelope filter. I think that's the first one that I see being that feature-packed. But that'll be our last pedal for today, again, in the loop of the Devil's Triad, and then we'll be going back into that pedal for our main output into a clean channel amplifier. But just before we do that, I, as usual, forgot to mention which board I was using. So that's going to be the Harley Benton Spaceship 40, paired with the ISO Pro 2 power supply that's already mounted underneath. Now, all right, and let's take a break now just to talk about how we're going to be using the effects loop on the Devil's Triad, because that's a question that Chris and I get regularly when we use pedals that have an effects loop. Is like, how do you run your signal chain? And usually that effects loop is here for a reason. So in that particular context, what we want is both these pedals going into one another like you would on any sort of pedal board, going into the inputs of the drive and boost section of the Devil's Triad. From here on out, we're going to take that output and run it into everything that we want to be in between drive and boost and delay reverb. All right, so we'll go from that out into the Alcmene, into the Slamurai, into the Macrodose, and then go back into the inputs of the delay reverb section and use that output to go back to the amp. So that way we're going to have 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6, 7. That's going to be last in chain, which is regularly where you're going to want your delay and reverb. If you're using that with a clean amplifier, you want to make sure that that's after your drive, unless you're playing shoegaze. But with that said, this is how this board is going to go. This is a signal chain, so let's finish the cabling right. We have power to everything. Every pedal turns on and off correctly. Now, quick tip on top of the effects loop thing, go and check out the David Gilmour episode that we did a few weeks back, because those pedals have the same feature, which is the battery lead inside. You can hear it when you carry the pedals and it rattles inside of it, so you want to make sure that you tape those off. If you want to know how to do that, go check out that Pink Floyd inspired video. But I think we've got everything we need for this one. It's routed properly, everything's getting power, so let's plug that into the amp and finally try those all pedal pedals. right, guys. I don't know about you, I absolutely loved everything that I've heard right now. Like, I cannot believe that this turned that Fender Blues Deluxe into that chunky of a sound. It was absolutely brutal. Love the versatility on that. I love that it's not too much in your face, because sometimes it can get, like, envelope filters can be hard to manage. This one, you kind of have to boost the frequency quite a bit on it to be like audible, but in a very, very nice way. Super chewy compressor, really loved it with humbuckers. Looking forward to trying that with single coils. That was, as described, very amp-like. The drive quite low, just like a very bluesy thing going on, but awesome. That boosted into it beautifully. That is absolutely insane. Yeah, really, really like that. That was all of the old pedals. Bit of a mouthful, but it worked. Check them out. There'll be a link in the description to all of these. Obviously, the limited edition as well, if it's still there, and everything else that we might stock in the future from that beautiful, beautiful brand. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Hope that tip on how to use FX Loop was useful. Please do let me know in the comments below if you do use those features on pedals, and if you don't, you should. So let me know that down there. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss out on future episodes. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.